say this. I'm up here to introduce somebody, but before I do, I'd like to do about 45 minutes. Okay. My recollection, my memories of Brooklyn are really terrific. I played every theater there when I was a kid. Over in Brooklyn, we had a place called the Brooklyn Academy of Music. Do you remember what it was? Well, it was the winter time, true story. Winter time, it was February, such a storm you never saw in your life. You couldn't get into the box office. The snow was that high. And making a personal appearance that night was Jascha Heifetz, the great violinist. So, the traffic was tied up, storm, terrible. And as actors usually do, John, you know that we all do it, we all stay backstage. Marty, we look through the curtain, we see how many people are out there. Well, if you know the Brooklyn Academy of Music, they sat 4,000 people. So there was about 120 people scattered around for the premiere, the debut of Jascha Heifetz's performance. So he looked at me, he was in his street clothes, and he said to the stage manager, young man, he said, could you do me a favor? Can you hold the show up for about 15 minutes, please? Oh, anything you say, Mr. Heifetz, you're the world's greatest violinist. 15 minutes went by, Jascha Heifetz looked through the curtain again, there's another 90 people, so you got 210 or 220 people scattered around this 4,000 seater. Goes back to the stage manager, will you hold it up another 15? Held it up till about 5 after 9. Finally, Jascha Heifetz walked out on the stage in his street clothes. Said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to say that there will be no performance tonight. The weather is terrible, and you'll all be refunded. Your money will be given back to you. So some guy in the back stood up and yelled, Mr. Heifetz, I drove all the way in here from Great Neck, Long Island. At least sing one song. True story. Right? Those were 1924. And my grandfather was a shoe cobbler. He used to fix shoes. Is that right, Phil? What, Phil? I can't hear you. You're the one that can't hear you. I hear you. Why don't you meet my 91-year-old brother, ladies and gentlemen? Phil Berle. Sit down. I love you. I know it's New Utrecht. You can't hear what I'm saying. Why don't you put your heads together and make an ass of yourself? What you gotta go through for nothing. Oh, reminded me. Dave, you remind me. You remind me. I tell a wonderful story. It's not mine, but it will be. Now. Maybe you heard it. It's new. Here in Beverly Hills, a guy is cheating, a woman is cheating on her husband with her lover in her own home. She's cheating on her husband in her own home. And while they're in the kip, the phone rings. They're right in the middle of the counting them in. The phone rings. She goes, shh, get away. She grabs, hello? She says, it's him. Yes, dear. Yes. He's at the club. Yes, dear. Oh, that's wonderful. He's playing golf. Oh, wonderful. Enjoy yourself. Yeah, he's playing golf. He's playing golf. With you. When Jesse White was telling his jokes, when Jesse White was telling his jokes, it reminded me of the story about Sam comes home to Esther, and Esther says, Sam, I'm so glad you're home. I don't know what we're going to do with our 12-year-old boy. solid. I don't know what to do. He comes home from school. The minute he comes home from school, he grabs a Playboy magazine, and he goes upstairs. I don't see him. I peeked, and he's fondling himself, playing with his... He says, "You mean he's masturbating?" She said, "I don't know if it's MasterCard or masturbating, but he's doing something down there. It's disgusting. Go up and tell him to stop it." Sam says, "Leave it to Sam." I'll go up. Sam goes up, opens the door. The kid's got the magazine. He's reading it. He's going away pretty good. Oh, boy. He's whacking it. Wow, wow, wow. Grabs the kid. He says to him, "Sal, immediately stop what you're doing. You're going to go blind." The kid says, "I'm over here, Pop." Before I introduce this special person, I'd like to leave you right now with some immortal words of people that are around the world. In the immortal words of the Jolly Green Giant, who said, "There's nothing like a good pee." In the immortal words of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, who said to his tailor, "Forget about the pants, fix the goddamn jacket." In the immortal words of Moses, when he stood on top of Mount Sinai and said, "What a spot for the hospital." In the immortal words of Jimmy Carter, who said to the Pope as the Pope was leaving the White House, "Next time, bring the wife and kids." In the immortal words of Abraham, who said to God, "Now God, let me get this straight. They get to keep the land and the oil, and we get to cut off the tips of our what?" In the immortal words of Mrs. Dan Quayle, who said to her husband when she was in bed with him, "You're no Jack Kennedy." In the immortal words of Adam, who said to Eve, "Stand back. I don't know how big this thing gets." No. In the immortal words of Roxanne, who said to Cyrano de Bergerac, "I don't care what you call it. Put a condom on it." I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I never use those words. Sorry, Rabbi. I'm 83, and sex at 83 is terrific, especially the one in the winter. I'm kidding. She's applauding. Lorna and I make love almost every day in a week. Almost Monday, almost Tuesday. I even had our new home redecorated, mirrors put on the ceiling, mirrors on the wall, and I got 12 different views of her headache. I even went to the extent to buy us a waterbed. She calls it the Dead Sea. I said to her the other night, I said, "Lorna," I said, "you know, black underwear turns me on." So she didn't wash my shorts for 2 months.